Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to start with this standard competence. It's a subsection of professionalism. It's added in the year 2025 and it's a very small standard, very simple, and we'll just finish it very quickly. So, what do you mean by competence? Competence means if you are an expert in any field, suppose you are an accountant, you are an expert in being an accountant in your firm. Okay, so you need to be competent, right? What does competent means? That means you need to have the right amount of knowledge, the right amount of skills, and also the ability to learn new things and apply to them. That is what competence means. Okay, so what is it doing here in investment profession? Now, if you can recall our first and last code of ethics, our first code of ethics says act with integrity, competence, diligence, respect, and ethical manner with everyone. Now, codes are asking you to maintain competence. It is also saying maintain and improve their own and others' professional competence. Now, there is one entire code on maintaining and improving your competence, but there was no standard to support it. There was no standard to say how do you maintain your competence or what does it actually mean. So that is why from the year 2025 onwards, the institute has added this new subsection to the standard professionalism, that is competence. Okay, so let's read what the standard says. Members and candidates must act with and maintain competence necessary to fulfill their professional responsibilities. Now, when I say members and candidates must act and with and maintain competence necessary to fulfill their professional responsibilities, it doesn't mean in all the areas. It means in the area that you are working in. Now, I gave you an example of being an accountant. Now, in an investment profession, suppose you are a consultant. You have to consult whether to buy, or you have to, you are an analyst or you are a consultant. Suppose you are an analyst, you have to give recommendation where you have to analyze the company and then give your recommendation as to buy or sell, or hold the particular number of shares. So when you're doing that, that is your professional responsibility. So in that area, you need to be competent. You need to have enough ability, knowledge and skill to fulfill your duties accordingly. That is what the standard is saying. Okay. This standard has been introduced to directly support these requirements of code of ethics, like I already told you. Now, what does being competent means? Having sufficient knowledge, skills and abilities suitable for a professional to work in that specific role with success. Let's break it into these three words: knowledge, skills and abilities. First, what do you mean by knowledge? Now, if you are a CFA CFA charter holder, that means you have to abide by all the standards. If you are abiding by all the standards, the first standard is professionalism, and the first subsection of the first standard is knowledge of law. So, what does knowledge of law meant? Knowledge of law meant that you need to have the knowledge of the current regulations, laws, rules of everything that is applied to you in your country or in your profession. Right, that's what knowledge of law meant. So what does knowledge means here? It means the body of information applied directly to performing your task and how effectively it is applied. Example, knowing the codes and standards of ethics. Now, if you're a CFA charter holder, you're working as a consultant and you know the codes and standards of ethics. That means you have the knowledge of that. If you have the knowledge of that, you will be able to perform your duties ethically. Okay. Secondly, you are a consultant, you should have the knowledge of all the shares, of how do you evaluate how do you analyze your shares, why are you giving the recommendation. So having knowledge of these things is what is required here, that you need to have the knowledge, right amount of knowledge to be competent enough, to be able enough to perform your own duties. Second, skills. What are skills? These are capabilities to complete specific tasks and achieve professional goals. Now you have to suppose make a performance report. That's a specific task. Now your capability to make that report properly is what your skill is. Okay. Let's understand with another example, writing a Python program to automate data analysis. Now you have to perform a data analysis and you are competent enough, you have a skill, you know that how do you write a Python program, that's your skill. knowing Microsoft Excel is a skill, right? So having such skills which helps you in finishing your job, in doing achieving your goals more quickly, more efficiently and more effectively, then you are called a competent person. We've covered knowledge, we've covered skills. Now what are abilities? Abilities is basically your attitude towards learning new thing, towards how do you want to learn it, when do you want to learn it, how much time do you take to learn it. Now I've given you an example, ability to learn new coding language like Python quickly. Now quickly doesn't mean immediately if you've read it once and you know it. It doesn't mean that you have to just read it in one day, you have to understand everything at one go. Now when I made these notes, I had to go through the institute's material or external references again and again, maybe once, twice, thrice, maybe sometimes for some topics 4 times as well. And after thorough reading and thorough analysis, I made these notes so that I'm sure that there are no mistakes and I've covered everything. Even when so ability does not mean that you have to do everything quickly at one go. It means that you have the ability to do it faster, and not just you're not able to understand only something. So you need to be smart, as simple as that. You need to have the knowledge, you need to have that skill, and you need to have the ability, and you need to keep updating yourself. Now for example, if a person has cleared CFA, if he's a charter holder, he's a CFA charter holder for the last 20 years. That means he studied CFA 20 years ago. Now, are the same things still applicable? No. Things have changed. The ways of investing has changed. The software has changed. Suppose you have to use a new software. There's a new software in the market. You are a performance analyst, and there is a new software in the market which helps you do your work more efficiently, more effectively, more quickly and more accurately. Then don't you think it's your duty to learn about the software, to work on the software and use that software in your firm, right? So this is what competence means. Knowledge means it is the body of information applied directly to performing your task and how effectively it is applied. Skills, these are the capabilities to complete specific tasks and achieve professional goals. Abilities, these are the capabilities and attitudes that support behaviors that result in observable outcomes. Now, what do you mean by being competent? What happens when you are competent? It allows the opportunity to be successful while doing any activity. And what do you mean by not being competent? What does it do? It doesn't always mean that you will lead an unsuccessful career or a negative outcome. What I am trying to tell you here is, being competent is a surety that you will go towards success, but not being competent doesn't always mean unsuccessful career. So basically, sometimes a competent professional can also make mistakes, incur losses, predict inaccurate future developments. You are only human. Competence means to learn new things, to be able to apply those things, to be able to understand those things. It doesn't mean that you yourself will become a computer or a software which does not make any errors. Market is a volatile area. It goes up, it goes down, and nobody can predict future. But what you can do is do your best in what you can do. Okay, so there's a small note. Being competent doesn't mean you are an expert in all areas of this profession. It means you are really good at what you do. Like I said, if you are an investment professional, it doesn't mean that you are good in all the areas. That whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, whether it's commodities, whether it's anything, mutual fund or SIPs or anything, it doesn't mean you're good in everything. It just means whatever your role is, you need to be very good at it. An expert, if I call myself an expert, it doesn't mean that I know everything about it. Like for example, if you call yourself a Microsoft Excel expert, it doesn't mean that you will know each and everything. It just means you know enough to do your job, and it's sufficient. And even institute understands that you cannot know everything. It just means that you need to, it's just included in the standard here because they want you to feel that it's your responsibility to be updated with whatever is going on, with whatever new softwares are there or whatever new ways are there to do your job properly. Okay, like I've written here, written an example here: accounting professional, competent in providing financial statement audits, but average in assessing compliance with performance presentations. Now, you may not be, an expert in performance presentation, but you are an expert in providing financial statement audits. So, focus on that. Improve your skill on that. Improve your capabilities, your abilities to, learn new language. You should always improve that. Now, what does this standards basically say? What is it wanting from you? How can you, what will you do that you will violate this? Or what will, if someone's saying that this person has violated standard competent, he is not competent, what are the considerations that you will receive from CFA Institute? First, it requires you to achieve and maintain and improve competence in your area of work. Like I said, you cannot be, you cannot know everything, but whatever your area of work is, if you are an analyst, then be a very good analyst. You don't need to be very good at preparing reports, performance reports, or anything. You just need to be good at what you do. First, institute understands that. Second, standard very well understands the concept of you learn as you go. It increases with knowledge and experience. Obviously, with experience, you understand the market better, you understand the client better, you understand your job better. So, institute merely wouldn't say, I mean, a 1 year old, as in if you have completed your CFA charter holder 1 year ago, and you compare yourself with a person who's completed their charter holder 10 years ago, obviously they have more experience in their hands, on their side, right? So they will be more competent to you in terms of experience, in terms of how market reacts and everything, and you just a newbie, you just a fresher. So institute understands these things. So if anybody is blaming you for a violation in this, institute will definitely keep it in mind that you learn as you go, and it increases with knowledge and experience. Third, to maintain and improve competence, it's not mandatory to participate in any education program. There are a variety of ways to do the same. Now, if you want to increase your competence, now there are n number of YouTube videos. You can just go browse. Now, for example, if I want to edit my lectures, so I will just go to a YouTube video. If I'm getting stuck somewhere, if I want to do something else in my video, I'll just go to YouTube and learn new skill, learn new thing. Recording the lectures, editing on it on my own, writing my notes here, everything is a new skill that I have developed. I didn't know, I'm not a computer expert, but it's a new skill that I have developed because it is required in my area of profession. So similarly, you can always, it is not mandatory from the institute that you need to join any educational program. It's just they want you to find a way in which you can increase your competence, in which you can learn new skills, or you can work on your abilities. So that's what the standards say. Actually, it's finished here. That's it. Let's go read the recommended procedures. First, regularly engaging in professional development or continuous education program. It is not a compulsion, but it is recommended. Next, studying for or earning professional certifications. So basically, whenever you study for a certification or you earn a new certification, you are gaining knowledge by studying, right? Whenever you study anything, it never goes to waste. You are always learning something or the other, and it is helping your competence. Third, attending conferences, seminars, or webinars. These days, CFA Institute organizes a lot of seminars or webinars or conferences. Even your firm would organize training programs. Just try and attend as many as you can, as it will always help you. Fourth, informal continuing education self-study. Like I gave you an example of YouTube. You can just go to YouTube, watch lectures, or there are different, bloggers that you follow maybe for your CFA, your investment profession. Fifth, participating in expert groups and organization. There are many groups. Even so, in Facebook, you would find some investment professional group. I don't know if it is still relevant in Facebook, but obviously there are many groups, physical or virtual. You can always join those groups. You can always join the organizations, and you can always see, whenever you talk to another knowledgeable person, your knowledge definitely increases. Okay. Sixth, becoming proficient with any new skill or knowledge as necessary when their professional responsibilities change. So, suppose from a consultant or from an analyst to become a portfolio manager. Now, a role of a consultant or an analyst and a portfolio manager are two very different things. So, whenever you go into a new role, you have to learn a lot of new things, you have to acquire a lot of new skills to be, to do justice to that role. So, that's what, and I think it's written in recommended procedure, but I think it's very well said in the standard as well, that whenever you have to fulfill your professional responsibility. Now, if your professional responsibility has changed, you need to make sure that you have that amount of knowledge and skill and ability to perform your duty well. Well, that's it. This was the standard. See you in the next standard. Thank you.